Welcome to the IoT Unicorn Podcast. This is Pete Bernard from Microsoft, and this podcast is for anyone interested in the long-term technology trends in the IoT space and the journey from here to there. So let's get started. On this upcoming episode of the IoT Unicorn, I get green with Remco Ploeg of Altius, direct from Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and we talked to him about what his company is doing around AI, edge AI, and around carbon neutral housing. And how do we get houses to be a lot smarter about their energy usage and measuring current draw and other things, and how do we use all those signals to enable a carbon neutral lifestyle? So thank you, Remco. I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here. So you're actually based in the Netherlands, and I'm here in Bellevue, Washington. And through the magic of, I'm actually using the Squadcast platform right now to connect and record this. But welcome to the IoT Unicorn.
Thank you, Pete, for having me.
Great. So you're based in the Netherlands, and I've been there a bunch of times. I used to go there actually when I would go to Barcelona for MWC. There was always like a flight at the crack of dawn from Barcelona, and I would transfer in the Netherlands to get back to Seattle. And then one year I kind of got smart and I said, I'm going to go to Amsterdam the night before, get a good night's sleep, and then I'll take like the 10 a.m. direct to Seattle. So I've spent like a bunch of those kind of layover nights in Amsterdam. So it's an awesome place. But are you from there originally?
Yeah, so I'm from Rotterdam. So that's the other big city in the Netherlands. So that's the south of Amsterdam.
I see.
And I was I think, also on the same plane as yourself. So I flew a lot to Seattle with the direct flight in the morning. So and also coming back with the flight early in the morning in Amsterdam again.
Yeah.
So I'm based at the moment in Utrecht, in the middle of the country. And
okay. So you've been at Altius for about a year or two? Couple of years?
Yeah, a little bit more than a year. And beginning of this year, there was an acquisition of Altius by Avanade.
Yes.
So I'm joining formally Avanade from the 1st of January coming year, 2021. But already, I think for 6 months, I'm working side by side with my Avanade colleagues.
And so I know you've been, I know another thing I did a little research is Altius was named Microsoft's AI Partner of the Year. So that's a big deal. So like, tell me more about that. I mean, what is Altius and AI? What is do you consider Altius an AI company or more of a IoT company that's using AI, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, so if you look at Altius, we are at the moment with 400 people in the UK, Netherlands, and India. And we've got a full focus on data and AI. So that's also our focus. So IoT is more or less not a side job, but we started
means to an end. Yeah,
means to an end, exactly. And then started when I joined Altius. So that's 1.5 years ago with also combining AI with IoT. Because I think that's a great combination that we have there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of times we've had folks from Qualcomm and other more telecom related. I think we had BT on here recently, and it was like the 5G plus AI plus IoT, or pick your network. That certainly becomes, kind of a game changer, right? For what you can do with a little bit of data over a large number of sensors, or a lot of data, over a small.
Yeah, I think already at the moment, even without 5G, but 5G is of course already rolling out. We can already do a lot with IoT.
Yeah. So actually interesting on that topic, you talk about IoT. So how much do you think with AI and IoT are you seeing on the cloud versus the edge? And how much experience are you getting now? Are you seeing more of an emergence of edge AI in addition to the cloud AI? Or what are you seeing there?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I don't know, 10 years ago, we were moving everything to the cloud. And now we see some workloads going back again. So I do a lot of projects around connected buildings. I think that's a great example with edge computing. Is the amount of sensors in especially new buildings and smart buildings. It's so enormous that moving every data point to the cloud. It's sometimes technical not possible, and the second hand it's too expensive.
Right.
So we see there a movement back, putting edge devices in the in the building itself again, and also doing AI on that edge device itself, because of course what you don't want to do in a building is controlling lights in the cloud, for example. You want to control it locally. If the internet connection is not there, you want to still put on your lights on. And since a couple of years, we are also doing AI on the edge, and AI in the cloud, of course, already a little bit longer. And we are controlling, for example, HVAC systems with AI, depending on the expected usage of the building and certain conditions. We put certain settings into the building, and running those AIs now on the edge device helps us and our clients a lot to control those devices.
Yeah, I also had understood, like talking to some other customers too, about edge AI, especially in AI vision. It's something where you want to actually process locally, just from a privacy perspective too. I mean, there's a transport. Obviously, you can't keep like streams of data going up into Azure and doing like live video analytics. I guess you could, and some people do. But for a lot of maybe smaller implementations or other implementations, you want to kind of do things locally, act locally, and then keep the data on-prem, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we've got also, again, in smart building solutions, things like security with cameras, where we can analyze the data of the camera to see, okay, is somebody trying to breach into the building or do something else? And we all use Edge AI for that. Yeah,
right. Correct. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Tell me a little bit. I heard about some of the carbon neutral housing efforts that you were doing. So tell me more about that. That sounds intriguing.
Yeah, so for one of our clients in the Netherlands, it's a company called TBI. It's an opco company with around 6 or 7 opcos beneath. And one of their main goals is to be the most sustainable builder in the Netherlands. And for that, they are building carbon neutral houses. So that means that that the houses are totally carbon neutral from a building perspective, but also from a usage perspective. So the people that are going to live in that home, on normal conditions, don't need to pay any energy bill every year. So they are really zero. We call it zero net houses in the Netherlands. But carbon neutral is a better naming for that.
And so they're generating power on site as well. So they're generating their own power, and then also the building is smart enough and efficient enough where it's only consuming the power that's generated on site. Is that basically?
Exactly. So they put solar panels on it to extract the data from the solar panels. We've got all kind of meters in the home, smart meters, smart energy meters, all kind of temperature, humidity, CO2 sensors in the home. And we extract all the data into the cloud to do the analytics and to prove that the house is also carbon neutral.
And so do those exist? I mean, it seems like that's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, I guess it depends on the size of your house and what you're doing in your house, but is that feasible?
Yeah, so in the Netherlands, we don't have big houses like in the US.
McMansions.
So it's more, so it's more blocks of houses. And we have around, what's a normal house? I think 120, 130 square meters. So that's not huge.
Although the square footage of the house also limits maybe the amount of energy you can create, right? I mean, you've got limited space for solar panels.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And one of the other things that is, of course, very important is of course the energy with the solar panels. But second of all, of course, if in the winter, for example, if the homeowner put the window open the whole day, that house will never be carbon neutral because heating will go the whole day and the whole night.
Bad behavior.
So that's why we need to exactly. Yeah. So we also try to help the homeowner to get insight in that usage and that energy to reduce the energy.
Is the power generated primarily through solar, or is there any kind of wind or other geothermal? Or
no, at the moment in the houses it's really solar panels, and of course the extra energy that they bring into the home is from green energy. So in the Netherlands, it's most of the time wind energy or other solar panels.
So they're getting a power feed from the grid, from the government grid, that's green energy, that's probably wind powered, right? And then they're augmenting that with local solar. And then the energy they're consuming is kind of net neutral, I guess.
Natural, exactly. Yeah, because in the winter, of course, you don't have enough sun. We don't have enough sun in the Netherlands.
Same here. I mean,
in the winter,
Northwest, we don't have. There's no sun here.
No. a lot of rain.
Interesting. Wow. And so has that solution been deployed then? I mean, your solution with.
Yeah, we have now around, I think, 700 houses deployed.
Fantastic.
And depending of the speed, of course, of building, extra houses will be added every month, something like that.
So basically what you're doing is you're instrumenting, because I know in the US and maybe in the Netherlands too, there are ways to instrument your patch panel, your incoming electrical panel to look at loads, on a per circuit basis. And then what you're doing is then you're doing that kind of analysis. You're doing the HVAC kind of heating, cooling analysis. Are you doing anything about the appliances themselves in the house? Are there appliances that are kind of, determining, being smart about their energy usage, or is that all just happening sort of asynchronously from the rest of the system?
Yeah, so we put some, let's call them smart energy power adapters in the home. To see, okay, what the refrigerator, how much energy is that costing, etc., etc. So we also getting that data. In the future, there are plans to also put a small panel in the home to give direct feedback to the homeowner itself. So at the moment, it's more or less it's more information behind for the homeowner, so they can watch later on how the house is performing. TBI can see it directly, but the homeowner sees it later. So they want to bring that information already directly in the home, so the homeowner can react on it directly. Yeah.
So you're measuring basically like current draw from different outlets, for lack of a better term, right? And just giving them a heads up, and but in the future, then maybe hopefully these things that are plugged into the wall will get smarter and smarter about. Everyone needs to sort of get a message to sort of go into kind of low power mode because somebody's running the dryer, maybe. I don't know. Like, is there intra appliance communication going on here, or is it just sort of every appliance to themselves?
Yeah, we see that already with So we see that already with load balancing. So in the Netherlands, we've got a big amount of electric cars that we are charging at home, and so we've got a lot of solutions also in this case with load balancing. So depending on the usage of the home, the car will load more or less energy. So I expect much more solutions also in the more smaller devices that can do more or less the load balancing and talking to each other. What's happening?
Exactly. I think that's kind of key. We actually just installed a level 2 charger here in the US because we have a Chevy Bolt, our newest car. It's great. And, the 110 volt charge here, that doesn't really, it only works for emergencies. It takes like an hour to get 5 miles of charge. So the level 2 we had installed and run off like a 40 amp breaker in the panel. And I could see that the inter sort of communication between devices, that'll be sort of maybe the next step.
Yeah, and we see it already sometimes with more domotic systems that try to connect all the kind of devices to each other. But that's still, in my opinion, more for tech guys like us, because it doesn't work always. And you need some technical expertise.
A bunch of logos on the box. It's supposed to work with the other thing. It never does. So I've been there.
Exactly. Yeah, it never does.
So what are you using Azure for in this case? I'm curious. Like, what are your? There's obvious things I could name them, but I'm just curious. How are you leveraging Azure in this particular solution?
Yeah. So let's start with we've built our own device, or our hardware partner did that in the home, and that device is managed by the Azure IoT Hub, where we get the data from the device into the hub, but we can also control the device in the home. So it's
and is that sort of a monitoring device? That's kind of like a power monitoring?
No, it's more, let's call it a gateway. I think that's the best naming convention for this device. So it's really the center of the device in the home that extract the data from the solar panels, from the heating pump, etc., etc. And the data is directly feed into the systems. Of course, we've got also some devices that we cannot connect in the home itself, and we extract the data from APIs of those suppliers. So those are more or less the two options for data ingestion into the platform. We're using Azure Digital Twins version 2 to make the replication of the home itself. So we get data from Autodesk. Autodesk is a piece of software where they design the homes with. The data from the Autodesk we import into Azure Digital Twins, and we combine that data with the sensor data in the home. and that combination reflects into a digital twin of every home of TBI.
That's cool.
And if the data are flowing into the digital twin, we analyze the data with applications like time series insights, where we can do simple time series analytics. And of course, this data is all time-based data, solar data, panel data with consumption and data and energy data, etc., etc. So they can do the fast analytics by themselves. And the other one is we use Azure Stream Analytics, where we can analyze the data for anomaly detection. So we know, for example, one of the biggest challenges TBI has is really a simple one, but it's water pressure. So in older homes in the Netherlands, we've got gas boilers or sometimes electric boilers, and they need a certain water pressure in there. If you don't have enough water pressure, you cannot shower and you don't have heating. And it's an easy solution because you just put extra water into the boiler system and it works. But if you're in the morning and you want to go to a shower, it doesn't work. Yeah, most of the people will call, in this case, TBI, and say, okay, my boiler doesn't work. So then the mechanic will go to the house and fix the problem in 1 minute.
Very expensive.
But it's quite expensive.
And so you have what? So there's sensors for water pressure in the pipes. Is that?
Yeah, no, it's a sensor for water pressure in the boiler.
Itself. Okay.
So it's indirect in the pipe, of course. Yeah. And that data we get in, and we see a certain pattern that it's declining every time. And then, of course, we can or call the homeowner first. So they're now calling the homeowner and ask them, can you fill it by yourself? And if not, they will come to you and fill it for you, of course. But it's more, let's say proactive maintenance instead of predictive maintenance is more proactive. And so that's one of the options they are doing. We're using Azure machine learning also to calculate the optimized boiler temperature. So to reduce energy in your boiler systems, you can set a certain boiler temperature. And of course, how higher the boiler temperature, how more energy you will consume. And you need to find per home the optimized boiler temperature. So we use machine learning for that, Azure machine learning. And of course, we use Power BI to present all the data to the stakeholders of TBI itself.
Wow, that's cool. So you're getting your money's worth then on Azure.
I hope so, yeah.
That's cool. Are you doing any edge AI, speaking of edge AI, on the gateway itself, or is it really more of data collector sender?
Yeah, so at the moment, it's really in data collector. And of course, we can send comments back. Based on this platform, we are also building out now for the same customer and connected buildings platform. So same architecture, but different use case. And therefore we use edge devices, of course.
Yeah, I can imagine. Actually, I had someone from RXR Realty on the show about a month ago. I don't know if you heard that one, but that was interesting because they're focused more on the commercial. They're one of the largest real estate companies in New York City, and so they focus on commercial real estate. And in fact, they're using Azure for a lot of work, safe at work scenarios around social distancing and mask wearing and occupancy and other things. So I can imagine once you move into commercial space, there's obviously the energy usage and the efficiency, which you guys are kind of focusing on here for the personal home, but then there's all these other scenarios that when you get into smart buildings, obviously that's kind of a little more complex.
And then the other issue, of course, we checked if we could do something with edge devices, especially from a machine learning perspective in the future. That can be a good solution. But if you look at the moment for the pricing model between the edge device and an RTOS device, it's more or less almost 50% cheaper to put let's say it in a more stupid device in the home.
No, that's true. That's true.
And it's getting better also on the simple devices. You can also already do some simple machine learning or small analytics tasks. So as a Microsoft, they put also a lot of energy with Edge Impulse, for example, that can do really simple machine learning on a really simple device.
Exactly.
Not a lot of CPU power.
So if you had your wish list of I really wish this technology existed to help me with these solutions, and it doesn't exist yet, is there anything that is kind of top of mind for you that you could snap your fingers and say, kind of wish we had that?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah, so for this use case, it's more or less for the device in the home. So as TBI, together with a hardware partner, we have built a custom piece of hardware, and that's of course cool, and I like that. But if you, as a construction company, do you want also be a hardware builder of those devices in the home? So I'm looking forward also. If you look at Microsoft and what they are doing with things like Surface laptops, etc. Yeah, will they come ever with a cheap, really good, more or less Edge or Artos device, Microsoft branded, working really good? That's one of the things that
I see. So sort of a Microsoft Edge AI sort of platform or something that
something like that. Yeah. And of course, there are also. Yeah, so there are of course already some development kits for that with the Vision Kit and etc. But it's more or less for for playing around with AI. It's really a cool device. But from a production perspective, you need, of course, something else.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that would be good. I mean, I think there's a lot of work ahead of us in terms of. You talked about the Edge AI and just, a lot of the things that Altius is doing is certainly on sort of the cutting edge. You said you have about 700 homes, so obviously lots more to go with that. Yeah. And, do you know of any other overseas? I'm wondering if there's any equivalent sort of efforts going on in the US. I know that there's a lot around efficiency, but not necessarily around marrying efficiency with the kind of intelligence. I don't know if there's anything else.
No, we see in Europe a good interest now in this solution.
Yeah.
So we also try to more resell this solution, as Avanade, and of course you can use the same concept in a building. And I think in the US also to save energy in a big building, you can save a lot of money.
Sure.
So I think this case can also help with that.
Yeah, for sure. Fantastic. So how's the pandemic been affecting your business over the past, I guess, year almost, God forbid?
Yeah, I have to say in the Netherlands, it's quite good.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still building houses. And there's a big need for houses in the Netherlands, especially cheaper houses. So we see a lot of attention. And I think if you look at the pandemic and data and AI, I think companies need more and more data and AI also during pandemic and also afterwards.
True.
So from that perspective, I see a good future around this topic. If you look at IoT, a lot of companies are now investing, okay, how can I do the same without the people? And IoT, of course, can help with that, with more automatic. Think about connected factories.
Mm-hmm. I think actually it's interesting. One of the things I've heard kind of a constant theme is the pandemic. Obviously, it's been pretty horrific, but we are getting a lot more data savvy, I think, as a population. Like we're learning to understand data and the importance of data, and data can mean life and death in many cases. Yep. So just the sort of data savviness of the population it's a positive thing. And and like you said, I think people are trying to just now use technology to be safer, to be more efficient, remote and automated. And so that's kind of, fast forwarded a lot of investment in technology, I think, over the past 9 months or so. So, and I guess, part of it is, doing more with less in many cases, right? We're trying to be more efficient and more effective. I think once we can kind of get the pandemic under control, we get the, climate change kind of comes back into the front page, I guess, as you would say. And, so like kind of the work that you guys are doing in terms of really being smart with energy. Energy is such a finite resource. And, although I guess it's infinite if you consider like the sun and the solar system, but anyway,
and the wind. Yeah.
And the wind, I guess it is infinite. No. But that's kind of the next thing is we need to kind of get smart and like take some of the technology investments we've made and really apply them to our everyday life. And, 20, 30 years from now, this will just be commonplace, not having this kind of smarts in your home, in your building, and not having renewable energy, not being carbon neutral itself will probably seem very odd decade from now. So
Yeah, and if you look at IoT, IoT is already there for, I don't know, 20 or 25 years.
Yes.
Yes,
We had that discussion the other day. So I've been involved in it for that long. So we used to call it embedded systems, and now it's called IoT.
End-to-end.
And now they're going to change it. It's going to be called edge. So edge computing is now even cooler than IoT. So get ready for another name change. But no, it's fascinating. Well, it's great. I mean, I really appreciate you taking the time and explaining what you guys are doing. Any kind of closing thoughts or other things you want to communicate out to the audience around where this stuff is heading?
Yeah, so I think what you just mentioned, if you look at sustainability after pandemic, I think that should be one of the main topics for us in the world.
Right.
And I think IoT can really help with that, creating that achievement with sustainability. And of course, in your home, it's all small what you're doing. But if everybody is doing it, it's really big for the world.
Right.
And so we should use these kind of technologies in our homes and our buildings.
Right.
That will really help a lot, saving energy and reducing a lot of bad air in the air in the world.
Yeah. I hear you. I think there's a phrase, I think it's like, I can't solve the problems of the world by myself, but I can solve the problems that are here locally on the ground that I stand. And I guess if everyone is kind of doing that and you kind of, using technology in the right way to be sustainable, then it does add up. Right. So that's kind of the important point. Perfect. Great. Well, Remco, I really appreciate the time. It's been nice meeting you, and appreciate all the support of the Microsoft community. And hopefully our paths will physically cross at some point, maybe some future Mobile World Congress, I don't know, Barcelona or Netherlands or something in the future.
Or maybe on the airport of Amsterdam, man.
Yeah, I'm sure we've actually probably passed each other in the airport at some point. But,
yeah.
Cool. All right.
Thanks for having me, Pete.
Thanks, Remco. Take care. This is Pete Bernard. You've been listening to the IoT Unicorn Podcast, and thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for the next episode, and feel free to give us some feedback at the IoT Unicorn at Microsoft.com. Thank you.